Welcome back to Lift You Up Inspiring Health Stories. I'm your host, Tamika Bickham. I am the founder and chief storyteller of TB Media Group, but for the purpose of this podcast, I am your health and happiness matchmaker. Now, before I introduce you to today's guest, you know what I'm going to ask you to do if you haven't done it already. Hit subscribe on YouTube and connect with me on LinkedIn. I'd love to connect with you. Today you are going to meet Kevin Minter. He is a linebacker for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He is also a businessman. He cares about health and wellness, which is obviously very tied to what he's done for pretty much his entire career. He's also turning it into a business venture as the owner of a chiropractic franchise in Atlanta and also now here in South Florida. So he's diving more into that, why he's doing it, and how chiropractic services can benefit you. Our physical, mental, and emotional health is not just a want. It is a need for happy lives and prosperous businesses. Lift You Up is the podcast where we share inspiring health stories from business owners who are fulfilling their purpose to live their healthiest lives and helping you do the same. From former TV reporter to marketing entrepreneur and content creator, I care about sharing stories that matter and stories that connect us. I'm your host, Tamika Bickham, your health and wellness matchmaker. Well, today I am so excited to be joined by Kevin Minter, and especially the day after you just had a game. He is an NFL linebacker for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, also a former LSU All-American, a record holder there, and a lot of stats that I'm sure he could share if, he wants to toot his own horn. But also in addition to that, what I love and what we're going to talk more about is you're also a savvy businessman. You own 2 Joint Chiropractic franchises in Atlanta, opening a third one in Miramar, Florida, in my neck of the woods. And you are also the regional developer for all of South Florida. So I'm excited to learn about all of that. But first, I'll just have you tell us a little bit more about you, and welcome.
Thank you for having me, first and foremost. A little on me, pretty much go off of what you said. I was an LSU All-American. I've been in the league now for 8 years, played for the Cardinals for 4, played with Cincinnati for 1, and been with Tampa Bay for almost 3. And has had a pretty good career. Like you said too, I've gotten to the business side of things. Pretty much because football isn't, it isn't for long. So even though I've had a long career, it's I'm one of the rare. So with that being said, I had to make my money work for me. So I kind of got into something I was pretty passionate about, something I've been doing since I was a kid, and that's chiropractic. The Joint Chiropractic is something me and my business partner, Walt, we got into a few years ago, and it's been pretty lucrative, and and obviously it's helped out my community and my because I actually own 2 chiropractic offices in my former neighborhood in Atlanta, Georgia, and it's been good so far, So.
All right, so I want to go back a little bit further. Take me back into growing up. I want to learn because obviously being an athlete, you have a certain level of discipline. You have a special relationship with your body, with health, with fitness. When did all of that really start for you? When did you know you had a passion for the sport and all of the, everything that kind of comes with that?
Well, for me, it happened fairly young. I started training around 7th, 8th grade for football with some pro athletes at a training facility down the street, and kind of really got into it. Started seeing how the pro guys were taking care of their bodies and kind of how they went about their day. And when I first got into football, it was really about getting a free education. And after training with certain guys, throughout my career, compare myself to them and seeing, the type of stuff I was doing on the field. I started having ambitions about the league.
Is there a point that you knew that it would be attainable to go to the league?
I often tell people, I knew in high school, like this could be something I could do. Just being around
You were
guys.
like, I am that good.
Not necessarily. I knew I was pretty good, obviously, on the field, but throughout that process, I just started seeing, I'm lifting the same weight as some of these guys, that are in the league. I'm running the same type of times they are. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm comparing my stats to them from the high school. I'm like, okay, I'm right there with y'all. Like, this could possibly happen. So, I had a great, upbringing with, my mother and my brother and sisters. They were, it was, they pretty much knew. Like, they pretty much always, preached to me that, whatever I want to do, whatever I set my mind to, I can do it. And so that's kind of why I was fairly confident so young about me getting into this league. So.
I love that you said you were willing to put the work in. There's so many people who are not. And I'm sure it's so much, definitely talent and skill and all of that, but willing to have that discipline that you need and that work, and just like learning from some of the other guys that you mentioned as far as how to train and treat your body. So, okay. So now and then on top of that, you saw it as an opportunity, right? For a free education. So you ended up going to LSU.
Yep.
And we were just offline before I hit record on this episode talking about the energy. Me having been a reporter covering Auburn and Alabama's SEC championships, national championships wins, and the undefeated season at Auburn with Cam Newton, I think back in 2010, 2011, and what that energy is like.
Right.
I know, like, kind of describe what that's like. I mean, that's such a large stage to be on as a young athlete, looking ahead to, what has ended up being a long career for you in the NFL. Did that make you excited for what was ahead?
Absolutely. But I just honestly, since I've been in this league, I still haven't played in games that can match those college days.
Really?
Yeah, it's different, in college. The nostalgia of it, people grew up, being LSU fans. I mean, you see babies, with LSU stuff on out the womb. You know what I'm saying? Like it's real down there. 100,000 people screaming at the top of their lungs every game, no matter who you're playing. It could be New Mexico State. They're showing up, they're selling out, they're tailgating. It's about 200,000 on campus. It was insane. And not to say that NFL was kind of a disappointment, but essentially it kind of was compared to the atmosphere. There's only a certain amount of teams that get that type of love in the league.
Right, absolutely. I mean, that just brings me to another random question, but what are your thoughts for the kids that are now in school, college athletes, and we're in the middle of 2020 and they don't have that experience?
Right. It sucks. I can only imagine being a freshman coming in, or a sophomore, a highly touted sophomore, trying to make it to the league, and the season's up in the air. You're not sure from week to week if you're gonna suit up or even have a practice. So it's like I don't even know what to tell them. It's hard, especially in those other conferences. The SEC, they're pretty they're pretty set on finishing the season. But what if you're playing in the Big Ten right now, the Ohio State, or Michigan? It's.
I hope they figure something out, because it's not fair. I mean, it's nothing that any of us have any control over,
Right,
but at the same time, you get kind of one shot at this.
Absolutely. And even with some of the rookies coming in this year, you knew that they weren't going to get as much of a chance to make this team because we didn't have preseason games. In most years, you have some guys that'll show a little something in training camp, but it's so hard now, all around. It's sports in general. So
Right. So you mentioned some of the things that you learned early on that you needed to do to prepare your body for the sport. So can you kind of talk through what some of those are?
uh, for one, nutrition. I'm big on that. Metabolism started to slow down maybe about midway through college. Couldn't eat the same way I wanted to, or I was in high school. So, I kind of had to learn that pretty early. Making meals more fuel based, sustenance, rather than, satisfaction. Uh,
Yeah. Eat your veggies.
Yeah, exactly. I wasn't necessarily the biggest fan of Brussels sprouts growing up, and now, I eat them now, or salads. You know what I'm saying? I try to get in obviously enough cardio and enough weight training to kind of help me sustain throughout the seasons. And obviously my training has changed over the years, just based on the wear and tear, and I'm older now. Right now it's more about maintenance and maintaining strength. Earlier on it was about building, but I'm 8 years in the league. Some guys call me ancient. A lot of guys in the locker room call me uncle or OG. So with that being said, it's I can't put up the heavy weights anymore. I have to do more aerobic stuff or do more explosive things. With lower weight stuff like that. So. The treatments, the different treatment methods I've done throughout the years, acupuncture, active release therapy, different tapes, different, I've actually done some stuff this year with a TB12 guy. It was actually pretty good therapy. It all ranges though. I've done a little bit of everything up to this point, and because
and also chiropractic.
Oh yeah, that was.
You're like that. That's a given.
Yeah. Chiropractic. Well, that's more of a given because, like I said, I've been doing that since I was like 13, 14. So
really, was it something that your parents said, "Hey, you're gonna give this a try," or was it something that you said, "Hey, I learned from"?
Learning from the other guys.
Okay.
I'm in a game that involves collisions. When you start dealing with different back pains or different neck pains, or your hips off a little bit, that can that can slow you down a little bit, within this game. It's my sport is about seconds, getting to certain spots fast enough to make the play, or not being as healthy as possible throughout the duration of the season.
So you've had a fairly long relationship then with the chiropractor, what, about 14, 15 years or so. How would you say you've seen the benefits? Because again, I think this partly is about education, because so many of us, myself included, have actually never been to the chiropractor.
Right. Like in high school, I had a pinched nerve. My neck was off a bit, and I went to go hit in the game, and it pretty much messed me up for the rest of the season. But this was a year I was in between doctors, and I wasn't going to chiropractor as much. And as a result, I didn't play as well that year. I had to play the season with a neck brace almost the whole year. And if I had just seen the chiropractor get a minor adjustment, obviously, things could have been different. Throughout my career, it's helped me. It's been essential to my training, to my wellness, and it's helped me all around. So
You're in the league, you're a pro football player, and now you are entering into the world of the Joint Chiropractic as a franchise owner. Tell me about how you I guess learned about the opportunity and became interested in it, because it seems very much like worlds aligned, right? With your long relationship with chiropractic and feeling as though it's an essential part of the athlete that you are. So tell me how that all ended up kind of coming together for you.
Well, I was looking for investments. My business partner, Walt, he was actually my trainer. He came to a couple of games when I was in my rookie year or whatever, and we kind of just had some conversations about, different business ventures, we could possibly get into. And the Joint Chiropractic was something he brought to my attention. I wasn't necessarily sure if I wanted to get into, different stuff because, I wanted to be focused on football. That was a big thing for me. I know this opportunity isn't necessarily something that comes around for everybody, so I wanted to be completely focused on it. But he kind of urged me to kind of look into this business venture or whatever, and I kind of just looked at how they ran the business, how the company was, their mission statement, and just how they ran things, and it just seemed like a perfect fit. Then kind of the rest is history. We just started drawing some paperwork, got in a conversation with the company, and we've had a really good relationship ever since. So.
Was there, when you went in to get an adjustment and check out the facilities, was there something that, you said it felt right? Was there something about it that...
It just seemed so easy. I mean, I know the Joint had kind of, been around for a few years by the time I saw it, but it was really just, you come in, get an adjustment and leave. When I really started to understand the business model, I was like, bro, it should have been something that should have been around for a while. And I had seen the low overhead, and they don't really use too many materials. It was only like two tables in there, and in a bathroom, in 600 square feet office space, and it seemed perfect. And I was also giving back to the community, essentially, in my neighborhood, helping with wellness, and it just seemed like right.
Because you started with owning 2 in Atlanta, which is where you're from.
Right. We had such a good rapport with the owner and the CEOs and some of the other people within the company that we were able to purchase the South Florida area and kind of be all in, be a regional developer, really try to get this thing going, in other parts of the country. It was really a match made in heaven. So.
Yeah. And I mean, I always think too, like, business ends up working and feeling right when it's something that you believe in, right? Like something you totally can get behind, because obviously this is something that you believe in, you use. So I know we briefly touched on it, but for those listening who don't know at all what the Joint is and what that model looks like, can you explain it a little bit?
It's like I said, it's it's a chiropractic spot. You go in there and get an adjustment. You come in, you pay, depending on the area, $30. You have a short consultation with the doctor. This is really on your first time. It'll be like 30 minutes, kind of see what ails you or whatever, and then he begins to work on you. The adjustment takes no more than 10 to 15 minutes. Then with that, you're paying maybe $10 to $15 per adjustment, and that's after 3 or 4 free throughout the month. So it's basically the same model as massage and envy, just in a chiropractic sense, and a whole lot faster.
I want to ask, because the number that kind of threw me when we last spoke is that only 2 to 3% of people in the U.S., I believe, actually have visited a chiropractor. Right. That's a pretty small percentage. I'm definitely in that 97, 98% who hasn't. Why do you think so few people have visited a chiropractor?
Well, it's still, I mean, I guess in a lot of people's eyes, it's still fairly new medicine. or people just scared of it. They don't like getting their neck cracked or their back worked on. If nothing's really wrong. If you haven't necessarily gotten a car accident, but what people don't understand is you don't have to get in a car accident to be out of alignment. You could be sleeping wrong. You could be you could you could be walking funny. You'd be surprised what alignment can do for the whole body. You can make you sleep better. Um, it's
And I'm sure it applies to a lot of people right now who are spending many hours sitting at home
that's
in
another
a
thing.
chair.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's especially in America. I mean, we sit all the time. We sit when we're driving, we sit when we're eating. I wear certain shoes. My whole back is off, my hips off. I feel it because I'm always in alignment. So
So you know how to identify it in yourself now if you are.
absolutely. I know when I'm off. I know when my neck is if I sleep funny. But I've I see my chiropractor about 2 or 3 times a week.
So I'm going to give you one objection that I've heard, and I'd like to hear what you think or what you would say. So probably part of the reason that I've never been to the chiropractors when growing up, my mom used to tell me, you don't go to the chiropractor because once you go, you always need to go.
I've heard.
You've heard that before?
Absolutely. And I can honestly say there's a little truth to it. You're always going to, once you get aligned like that and you feel good like that, you're going to always want to feel good like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Once you get that massage or once you get that, like, whatever that is, you want to keep going.
Yeah, exactly. You're going to want to keep feeling like that. So, yeah.
So what's next for you? So you own 2 of the Joint in Atlanta. You're opening the 3rd in Miramar, Florida.
Right.
And also the regional developer. So maybe talk through what that means, and kind of what's next in the next year for you as it relates to this business.
The South Florida vibe, it's really West Coasty. So it's well, you would know obviously since you live down there, but it's real health conscious, real big on wellness. So us putting one down there was, something we were probably gonna do anyway if we weren't necessarily regional developers, because everybody's trying to stay fit down there. So this just business wise, it just made sense anyway. We currently have 25 licenses sold. And we have 10 online, 10 or 11 online. I gotta talk to Walt about that. I'm because we had some grand openings in the past month or two, and like I said, I'm knee deep in this football right now. But but yeah, it should be about 10 or 11 online down there, and
And that means open for people to. Okay, just making sure.
We actually just sold 10 more last night, so we'll see what happens with that. And
wow, congratulations!
People see the business model, and they're buying them up. We pretty much sold all of North Florida, and Miami is pretty much our last little bit of it, and it's rolling right now. In the next year or two, I mean, we feel like we should fill up that whole South Florida area. And the Joint should be everywhere down there. We just became the official sponsors for the Miami Hurricanes. Right? We were already
Go Canes.
I can say that now. I'm in business
with you can say that now. You might not. He's like, I won't throw up the U, but I can say go Canes. Well, that's exciting.
Exactly. So with that being said, the next year or two, we should be everywhere down there, and just continue to grow the business, possibly look in different regions throughout the country, and kind of keep it going. And hopefully I'm still playing, God willing, and have my guy Walt kind of run the whole thing down there. So
yeah. So do you think the rapid growth that you're seeing in South Florida says something about wellness, yes, in this region, obviously we know people care about staying fit and wellness in South Florida, but how people in this region maybe want to incorporate chiropractic into their wellness routine. Do you think that that's more prevalent in South Florida?
It seems like it's popping up down there, whether it be a yoga studio or, different massage spots or different therapy spots, cryo spots. Cryo spots are going everywhere right now. But, with the chiropractic, I think, people are starting to see how essential that is to overall wellness. It helps with every aspect.
As far as entrepreneurship, you're like, hey, I'm in the season. Football is, has my focus. I know that everybody doesn't get this opportunity.
Right.
But also you came to a point within your career where, you did see the value and importance in entrepreneurship as well.
Right.
So can you kind of talk about why you made that decision?
Well, I've had a lot of vets throughout my time in the league, just talk about different business ventures they were in, and always trying to preach to younger guys about how making your money work for you, and that the NFL really stands for not for long. Our life.
I haven't heard that one. That's good.
But I mean, yeah, it's that's locker room talk. Guys all the time, they tell you, don't let this be your only source of income. It's about making money, while you're sleeping, while you know you're making money. I'm on the field, and checks are constantly being sent to my offices or whatever. So it's like just having a whole bunch of a whole bunch of lines in the fire. Just making my money work, and not just relying on this football thing. Because like I said, it could be taken from me at any time. So,
Is there a health tip that you live by, that you incorporate in your life that would just be your advice to others that maybe they could incorporate in their life right away?
Health tip. Go to Joint Chiropractic.
Okay, that's one.
It's but I gotta say, take chiropractic seriously. You'd be surprised the benefits of it, and just the benefits from being aligned, all together, whether it be your neck or your spine. Just take your overall wellness seriously, because it's especially with coronavirus and everything else that's going on in the world right now. I think people are starting to understand health matters, because anything can happen, and just kind of take make sure you take care of yourself. Self-care. I feel like it's something that people don't really take account for as much anymore. I mean, whether they're, either working, overworking themselves, or, just eating whatever you drive past,
Let me ask you this then. How much time do you spend each week on your own self-care?
It's kind of my business to do the self-care thing. If I'm not taking care of myself, there's no way I make it to 8 years in this league. If I'm not doing the right things, nutrition-wise, performance-wise, wellness-wise, it's this game is a very, very violent game, and it's even mental health, keeping your sanity, because I promise you, it's hard, especially nowadays with all these, with the Corona thing. I don't know if you watch the news or seen ESPN lately, but it's any team can get poppy any moment right now, as far as forfeiting games and missing checks, or
Right.
they come out earlier this year about how we can't go to restaurants or different, things. Can't go. I haven't seen my family, within a couple of weeks because I'm pretty much quarantined down here. So it's like,
It gets to you.
yeah, it can. It can. You can't let that get to you. You kind of got to just, take it day by day. And like I said, self-care is essential. I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be, just doing chiropractic work or doing the whole massage thing or anything else. It could be just, just taking some time, to watch some TV or something, get your mind off of,
Yeah.
just day. So,
Definitely, because we can all use positive distractions. That could be your meditation, like vegging for a bit, whatever that time is for yourself. Yeah.
Right. So anything self-care wise, I that's my tip. I feel like I feel like it should be taken seriously, and it's something you have to fit in, regardless of the schedule. You just you got to figure out some time to take care of yourself.
Absolutely. I would definitely second that. And I'm trying to get better every day.
It's a task. It's not necessarily, something you could, it's easy. You always get something to do. Always.
Yeah. The to-do list never ends.
Yeah, it never ends. It absolutely does.
But you got to just kind of prioritize. And you know what? I always say you make times for the things that you really care about. So like if you want to make yourself a priority, you can.
Yeah.
You can't just keep saying I don't have time. Like you had time for something else, and are you as important?
Exactly.
Right?
With being, I definitely have to, deal with self-care. I mean, I love my kids to death, but if I'm around each other too long,
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate you. Tell everybody where they can connect with you, find you, learn more about you and the Joint, and I'll make sure to link below to all of that below in the show notes.
Okay. Instagram is Kevin .mentor, and my Twitter handle is kmint_46. I'm post stuff about the Joint all the time. Obviously, we have a couple of Joint Instagrams too. Joint at Joint Peachtree Corners and at Joint Duluth. Feel free to visit, and we'd be happy to see you. So
awesome. Well, I really appreciate your time today, especially after having a game last night and providing us all those health tips and good information about your story and what you're doing now. So thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Kevin dropped some gems in there today. NFL also stands for not for long. It's kind of funny to think about, but I loved our themes that we had going on in our conversation today. Talking about health and wellness, talking about self-care, and also talking about entrepreneurship and making your money and your time work for you, which is obviously very important to him, something he's investing his time and resources into right now, as well as football. But also, even more important, it's something that aligns with what he believes in and a service that he's been utilizing his entire life. Chiropractic services. So make sure you find his information below, connect with him, find more about the Joint. If you're in South Florida, you're going to be seeing many more of them pop up around our area. And if you're outside of South Florida, you might have one close to home for you as well. So we'll have that information again below in the show notes so you can go and check it out. Until next time, because I'll see you back next week. But until then, stay happy, stay healthy.